What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Bling Empire. This is episode 2, and I am ready to talk about this episode. So, the episode actually opens up with a few of the cast members. They are at a club. You have Kim, she's DJing, and of course, who do we see flirting? Kevin is trying to flirt with Kelly. And I feel like sometimes she be probably flirting back with him, but she knows she got a man, so she can't, put herself in that type of position. So, we then see a scene of Anna. She is going over to Christine's house. And first of all, you could tell that Anna did not want to be there. Anna Shay was not trying to play these games with Christine, okay? So while they're there, they're having a conversation, and Christine starts to question Anna about what she's wearing, and it's like, is this off the runway? Is it ready to wear? Like, she's just asking her all these questions, and Anna, she's answering them, but you can tell she's over it. So they talk about that seating arrangement on the last episode, and Anna Shay is like, well, I sat you on the same row as my best friend. And I'm like, girl, you knew you were being shady. But the part that got me, though, was the fact that she's like, yeah, she speaks Spanish. Do you speak Spanish? And I'm like, girl, Christine is like, yes, I actually do speak Spanish. I'm like, I cannot. I'm like, did you sit her next to her? Because she was sitting at the end of the table and she wasn't supposed to have nobody to talk to if she didn't know Spanish. The pettiness, I love it. Another thing that I noticed in that episode was the fact that we learned that Anna Shay, she gives out great gifts when it is a dinner that she's having. Baby, she gave out Rolexes. Okay, but what did we see Christine get? I think it was like a Cartier paperweight. Listen, a paperweight versus a Rolex, that is two different gifts, okay? So next thing you know, they're talking about who's the oldest high jewelry house, and they're going back and forth. Again, Anna is annoyed with Christine because Christine only talks about labels and living this expensive life. There's no other conversation happening with Christine and the other cast members unless we're talking about things that are very, very rich. So here's my thing. The next thing that we see is Anna. She invites Kevin over because she wants him to go on a date. Not with herself, but with Kelly. She was so fed up with Red Power Ranger that she figures like, hey, another man needs to go ahead and be with Kelly because Red Power Ranger, he ain't it. So in the middle of her having this conversation with Kevin, we have a team of people show up from the Dior store, and they basically have a fitting right then and there. And I mean, baby girl is like topless, and Kevin is still trying to have this conversation with her, but I'm like, her boobs are out, she don't care. Out of nowhere, we then see Kevin, he starts to try stuff on because she's like, try this on, see if you like this. She's like, oh, I want to buy everything that you pick out. Baby, I wish I had rich friends like this. For real, like, oh, you're going to buy me things that I like and you're paying for? Sounds like a great friendship to me. So after that, we do see Christine and her family, her son and her husband, and they're teaching the baby how to swim. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. We come to find out that her husband, he wants another baby. And Christine lets us know that her family, well, not even her family, his family made it quite difficult for her because she couldn't conceive a baby over the 11 years that it took for them to finally get their miracle baby. Like, they would make her sit at the kids' table. They would make her wash dishes after there's like a big family meal. I'm like, yo, they are petty. All because someone is not able to have a baby, you make them sit at a kid's table? Wow. And I'm like, your husband didn't stand up for you or say anything? That's crazy to me. So after we see that, we have Anna Shay. She's talking to Kelly about her relationship with Red Power Ranger. And she basically tells her that everybody is putting up with Red Power Ranger because they like you, Kelly. Nobody likes that man just because he's a cool guy to be around. Nobody really likes Red Power Ranger like that. He rubs people the wrong way. And honestly, Kelly needs to let that relationship go. So we go back to seeing Christine and her husband. They end up going to a fertility place. It's where they have their embryos, and they get the embryos out the freezer and they show the couple, these 2 embryos, and it's 2 girls. They already have names, London and Margot. I can't lie. The name Margot, super cute, especially the way she planned to spell it. Super cute. So they sit down and they talk to the doctor about how her pregnancy was super hard, and the doctor ends up suggesting surrogacy. Now, Christine, she isn't sure because she doesn't want to bring shame on her husband's family because she wouldn't be naturally having the baby herself. But her husband, he said, baby, I will handle it. If anybody got something to say about me and you and our children, they can come talk to me. I said, okay, Gabe, you better put people in their place. So we next see Kelly and I'm about to say Andrew. I'm sorry. Red Power Ranger. They go to therapy and they talk about this fight, you guys. And the therapist basically says that he goes into this state of mind where he feels like Kelly is completely abandoning him. And I personally feel like this is all manipulation. He is playing a game with this girl, okay? Because there is no way you're going to be that upset and yell at her because she let you go to sleep while she was out shopping. I feel like he wants to control her. He wants to know every aspect of her life, and that is not a healthy relationship. I feel like at this point, the therapist should have said, no, baby, it's time to separate. Y'all don't need to be together. Because Kelly then goes into this one story about how one time Kelly was texting his mother and like blowing her phone up to try to help her deal with Red Power Ranger while he was probably spazzing out, and his mom did not answer. Here's the thing, ladies, if there are any women listening, I need for y'all to realize that his mama is not y'all friend, first of all. Never feel that comfortable with somebody that you're dating that you just go ahead and call their mother and blow up their phone because that person is acting up. Most of the time, their mother is going to be on their child's side, or their mother do not want to be involved in y'all problems. I mean, unless this is a situation where he is being very abusive to you, then I feel like, yes, you call anybody that you can for help. But if he just spazzing out, his mama don't want to deal with that. So his mom actually finally reached back out to her a couple of days later, and she's like, I cannot help you with all his emotional baggage. And so the therapist is like, well, he's mistreating Kelly because of how his parents are. But I'm like, no, I feel like he is an emotional manipulator, and his parents have already lived through that, and they ain't trying to go through that no more. They are tapped out. They're done with him. I just think that he does not want Kelly to leave him because he sees that she has a good head on her shoulders. She's an entrepreneur. She got things going on. And what is he? Just the Red Power Ranger. Nobody knows who he is. He wears a costume every time he's acting. Nobody knows who he is. So I feel like he's just clinging on to Kelly because what comes with Kelly? There's wealth. There's all these things. And what does he have? Honestly, not much to offer. I think that Kelly makes excuses for his terrible behavior, and she needs to stop doing that. So we next get a scene of Kane, Kevin and Red Power Ranger, they meet up, and Kevin is telling Kane about what happened at Anna Shay's house, like, him seeing her topless and her buying him, the clothes that were really nice. So Kane, he says that it could have been a test, to see if he would take anything from Anna Shay, you know what I mean? And he was like, I would never take anything from anybody. But I'm like, also, I understand where Kane is coming from when he says that he would never take anything from someone because he doesn't want that expectation that he has to give anything back. But coming from where Kevin is coming from versus where Kane is coming from, they were raised in two different lifestyles. Like, Kane, you have money. So technically, what would you be getting from somebody else that you can't afford yourself? Versus Kevin, who doesn't come from much. So if someone's being nice to him, he's going to be like, oh, they're giving me a gift. Like, I'll accept that. You know what I mean? So I just feel like I understand where both of them are coming from, but I think that Kane doesn't really understand what it's like to not have money. And that's the only difference there. So then we have Red Power Ranger. He's talking about how him and Kelly, they're good and they're doing a 360. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You guys are going right in circle after circle after circle, which is completely draining, okay? I'm like, I just really want her to break up with him by the end of this series, but we'll see what happens when I get to those episodes. Kane, oh my gosh, he tells Red Power Ranger that Kelly wants more anal sex. And now Andrew, he is feeling some type of way, y'all. Red Power Ranger was all in his feelings because now Kane has information about their sex life. And I can already tell that's probably going to become a big thing. So we go back to seeing Christine at home with her family. And they have a black nanny who speaks Chinese. I said, come through, girl. You better do it. So her husband ends up making a video to send to his family, about the surrogacy. And I'm like, okay, I can see why he did that. That was a cute little video to try to get his parents to understand that they want another baby. Again, I want to say they want another baby. We then see that there's like a little photo shoot with Christine and baby G. And Kevin stops by and she basically lets Kevin know that she doesn't want any more children. And I'm like, you mean to tell me that you went all the way to the doctor to talk to the doctor about surrogacy? You have your husband thinking that you want to have another baby as well. And he just sent this video to his family. Hell, you filmed it and you never thought to tell him that you don't want kids? Like, I don't know, Christine, you starting to move a little funny. So after that, we have Kevin. He stops by Anna Shay's house, and I was cracking up at the fact that she was not trying to let him in. Like, she's just like, why are you here? Are you scheduled to be here? Do not show up to that woman's house and not be invited or make a phone call saying that you coming by. Please don't do that. So he's just like, oh, well, I'm here to return the stuff that you bought me. I feel like Kane definitely got into his head, so that's what made him return the stuff. And she's like, it's really rude, to give someone a gift back in any culture. And she then has to break it down to Kevin that he should never let materialistic things make him or try to break him, honestly. And that, she bought those things and it's fine. He can have them. And basically he should not be impressed by materialistic things. And I can honestly say that seeing that let me know that Anna Shay, she seems to have a really good heart. She really does. So we next see Cherie. I forgot that we actually saw her in the first episode. She was at Anna Shay's party, and she comes from a huge denim empire. She has one child and one on the way. but she has no ring on her finger. She is not married and not engaged. Her boyfriend, Jesse, he owns a furniture empire, and Cherie was actually signed to Sony Music, and she was going to be a singer, and her mom didn't want her to do that. We learned that her mom passed away from pancreatic cancer, and Cherie, she talks about how Kane was there for her, and when it came to dealing with her mom and the cancer, and honestly, when you are going through having a person in your family with cancer, you really need a strong support system. And I love that Kane and Kevin were able to be there for her. They end up saying a prayer for her mom, or I guess a chant for her mom. And I thought that was really beautiful. So the last scene, guys, we have Christine. She's at home. She's getting ready to go to an event, and her husband comes in. He lets her know the parents say it's okay. We can go through with this surrogacy. I can get my 2 girls. We all good, right? Oh no. She says that they aren't on the same page and that she can't have these kids right now. And she doesn't want to have more kids, and he does. So he left that table, and he was pissed off. And I felt so bad for him, because I'm like, Christine, you knew you was trifling for this, because he had his hopes up, okay? And you put them there because y'all did not have to go to go check on those eggs. You didn't have to have that meeting with the doctor. You didn't have to film that video. You didn't have to waste his parents' time from viewing the video, and you damn sure didn't have to waste his time for filming that video if you would have just had a discussion with your husband. Like, I'm sorry, that whole scene pissed me off because I felt so bad for her husband. But that is where the episode left off. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.